Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Seaweed Brain, a Percy Jackson podcast. Now in episode 4 of our coverage of The Throne of Fire. This is a very exciting set of chapters. Carter finally has something to do.
Yay!
Shout out to that. And we have a brand new guest of the podcast. Stick around.
Morning decisions. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel, maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Welcome back, everybody. I love this book. I think I like it more than The Red Pyramid. I have firmly decided now we are like at the halfway mark. I'm really having a good time. I'm excited to talk about these chapters. We do have a brand new guest today. Everybody welcome friend of the podcast and patron. We have Rania. What's up, Rania?
Hello, hello, hello.
You specifically requested coming on to talk about The Throne of Fire. Tell me what you love about the Kane Chronicles.
Oh my gosh. Really, the better question would be, what do I not love about the Kane Chronicles? When I was a kid, there was maybe 2 books in the world that featured Arabs for kids my age. Now, I will say Carter and Sadie Kane are not Arab. You know, we could get into the historical geographical argument of whether North Africans are considered Arabs or not. But I digress. You know, that same like MENA, Middle Eastern, North African representation. We had Zia Rashid.
Woo!
We had Egypt. We had like all this fun stuff. Yeah. So
both in these chapters.
Yep. Both in these chapters, by the way. Look at my bangle. I wear the
Oh, pretty.
every single day. Yeah, so I love them. I love Carter and Sadie Kane. I felt like Sadie was arguably one of the most relatable Rick Riordan female characters for me, I feel like. Yeah,
Agree.
Snaps.
I loved Annabeth. She was a little too serious for me, like to relate to. Not for me to love, like I loved her. But
yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I'm there yet. Sadie's a little funny. She's a little cheeky. She's British. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this because she is so funny, Sadie, in these last couple chapters we're talking about today. And I was like, why didn't I relate more to her when I was her actual age reading The Red Pyramid as a kid? And I honestly blame the fact that Rick described her as being blonde. Like, I think that totally separated me, like mentally at 11 years old from like relating to her. And also maybe being British, but it was just so, I could not cross that leap, that divide, you know, and my little pea brain, because now when I read these chapters, I'm like, I have never, except for when I went and saw Oh Mary the other day, I was like, wow, I so relate to this woman. I really relate to Sadie Kane as well. She's great representation.
In my head, she was never blonde.
Period.
She was never blonde in my head. To be honest, the way that I looked at it, again, like, I don't care what anybody says, they were like Middle Eastern, North African in my head.
Right.
Which encompasses pretty much any and all races, right? Because nationality and ethnicity is not equivalent to race.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like Sadie looked like maybe like a Levantine Arab, which is like a bit more like lighter skin, whatever, like me. And then Carter looked like a North African. So that was like my head. Like,
yeah, what you were picturing.
Yeah. Nobody was blonde, though.
Nobody was blonde.
Whatever they looked like.
You still have the same like mental image of the characters when you read it now as an adult?
Yes, like I have friends that I picture as these characters. Like Zia looks distinctly like one of my Egyptian friends. Like Sadie looks maybe a bit like me. Yeah.
Powerful. Good.
Yeah.
Powerful. And it could be the illusion of us doing 4 chapters at a time. I feel like this book is really like tight. Great pacing, like compared to The Red Pyramid, which maybe there were some side activities or action sequences that I felt were maybe like superfluous or just kind of meandering. This book feels like really like we are on a mission. We got to stop the apocalypse. We are only coming up against like very specific obstacles. And I feel like I'm contrasting it with the Heroes of Olympus in my brain, which especially the first two Heroes of Olympus books really just feel like an assortment of random events sometimes.
But I like Jason. Sorry.
That's fine. No, they're fun. They're great. It's such a different vibe from like the meandering quest with lots and lots of pit stops, as opposed to this book really feels like succinct.
Yes.
Especially now that we've split up gang for these 4 chapters. Should we get into it? We last left off. It's poor Carter. Oh, the vulnerability of being known. Where did we leave off, Carter Nakamoto?
Yes, we left off with the split between the two of them. Carter gets known completely and then decides that he is going to abandon their primary quest and take Bess with him to go try to find Zia, while Sadie keeps trying to do the actual quest. This chapter was so stressful to me, mostly because of the fact that in a page and a half, we burn through like all of the time that we've allotted to do this. Part of the deal that they made also is that on each side, we're going to get 24 hours to do our thing and then reconvene, whether or not we've succeeded, and try our best to stop the apocalypse. And in the text of the narrative, we're like at like late afternoon, having made ostensibly almost no progress, just wandering around. No one actually knows where this town is at this point. We're just asking for help from kind strangers.
And I think that's part of what I like about the pacing of the book, that we did just kind of blow through that section. We didn't like meet another random god in like a food stall somewhere and have to do a little activity for them. We're just like, okay, speed it up to when we get to the tomb of Zia Rashid.
I think like it's really interesting though, because it's really representative of what it's like to travel through that part of the world, because there is no other way to do it. Like Carter's like, oh, we're going so slow, these Bedouins, like that's how they do it. And it's like, yeah, there's you what are you gonna take your Ford F-150 through the Sahara Desert? Like it's not really, it's not an option.
That was, I think, a really fun part about this is that you can feel in this section in particular, but throughout these books, Rick trying to take the time to find the like marriage between the present day Egypt and the ancient Egypt and incorporate some of the former into the text, which I was not particularly curious to learn more about kind of the outer neighborhoods of London in the way that I was curious as a child to learn more about who is currently living in Egypt and what their lives are like, and how the like legacies of Egypt as a like historical civilization of international interest impacts the experiences of people who are there today, which we get slight flavors of in this chapter. He does do this thing that I guess is maybe a realistic translation thing where like we don't hear dialogue from anybody, like any of the Bedouins we're interacting with, any of the farmers we'll interact with in Sadie's chapters, presumably because they're like speaking in Arabic and like are being translated by Bess or something. And I guess like we're trying to move it along, but
which, by the way, like most people in Egypt speak English. I'm here to debunk. That's why I'm here, guys. As somebody who did know what was happening in Egypt as a child, as somebody whose only cinema that they watched was Egyptian cinema, because the Levant doesn't have we didn't have the money nor the resources to make movies. I mean, we did, but not in the same extent that Egypt did. For the Bedouins, it's like slightly like a different story, but they don't live like completely removed from civilization, especially if they're like traveling Bedouins that like were able to pick up Bez and Carter. Majority of them speak English. I was hanging out with Egyptians from Cairo the other day. They were speaking English to me when I spoke Arabic to them, and they responded to me in English. I was like, okay, yeah.
Understood. Yeah. Can we talk about the sympathetic magic?
Yes.
Not sympathy magic like Florence and the Machine, but sympathetic magic. Perhaps not unlike sympathy magic, though. Carter, tell us about this.
It seems like we are trying to set this up as the core mechanic that we're describing in this book. Broadly, we've had it described to us as this idea that analogy in kind of reasoning is the way that we're able to accomplish a lot of tasks. This is the explanation we're given for Carter's poison healing moment, that the analogy to the Shabti is what is allowing Sadie to perform this healing. Carter's reflecting on this. We're going to see in Sadie's chapter when she needs to clear away some rubble that this is also her big aha moment that she again is turning to sympathy magic and using a miniature to accomplish the task of the real scale thing. I guess the question is, do we feel like there is a felt metaphorical resonance or a lesson that we're supposed to be taking about the world more broadly from this? Or I genuinely could not make up my mind. There were a few theories that I was trying to bat around, but I don't feel that compelled necessarily. That like it's obvious to me that there is, like a broader metaphor as opposed to this is the mechanic of magic that is prominent in this book.
Well,
But
it's
I'm curious
the
to hear
loose
what other people think.
Yeah, it's the finding the connection between two things. And the book is entirely about Carter and Sadie's relationship, like significantly more than the Red Pyramid even is, in my opinion. Like this whole book is like, yes, secondarily, there is the apocalypse, but primarily, like the number one plot I'm interested in is Sadie and Carter bridging this weird emotional divide that they have. So trying to find the relationship between the two things and bring those two things together through only like truly understanding and knowing what each of those things is, and like knowing their name and all of that, and that the power comes from knowing and then finding the similarities. That's what I was thinking. Maybe it's a little loose, but it did make sense to me.
No, I'll co-sign that.
This was my third time reading these chapters, and I don't know why, for me, like, I had such a difficult time understanding the concept of what Rick meant by sympathetic magic. I don't know if this is I mean, you let me know. I feel like you guys are very in tune with like worlds of magic, but this is my first time I'd ever heard, like, I don't know if this is a Rick exclusive thing that he invented. Like,
isn't that one of the best questions when you reread these books? You're like, did Rick make that up, or did he pull that off of something else, something pre-existing? Yeah,
exactly. And I literally was reading like a full summary of the Red Pyramid to like get into this book, and when you read the full summary, I'm like, where did he get these ideas from? Like, because when you sum it all up, like it's a lot. But yeah, I mean, I like the idea of attaching like yourself, your feeling, your magic, I guess, to something. It's interesting. It's just, I had a trouble grasping. I was like, that feels like a lot.
Yeah. It is something that exists in other writing and other myth making, and it is a word that is used by anthropologists and other folklorists and such.
My actual like way into understanding this was because I read Babel, which also is the current book club book for the Patreon. Thank you, Robert, for running book club. And that kind of like idea that the relationship between two words can create like some kind of like transmutation, which is more like the magic system in Babel, as opposed to two things being the same. It's like, how do you find the relationship between two disparate things?
Yeah, I guess there's a similarity there. No, I am compelled by this idea. Like, okay, the classical sympathetic magic thing is like the Shabti, or the I guess something that like a voodoo doll is like a kind of most classical, like you are thinking about similarity and analogy. You're trying to capture an essence and using that essential relationship to act upon someone. And I think the way that Rick loosens that, in particular Carter's chapters, there's a section where he's like when he's trying to do the river magic. He's trying to part the river to get to the tomb, and he taps into Horus, and he describes this as sympathetic magic in a way that I feel like is maybe a stretch of the classical anthropological understanding of the term, but that really aligns with this reading about relational understanding, where his version of that is basically saying like, I was trying to empathize with Horus, and through empathizing with Horus, I was able to find a way for our powers to kind of fuse together and to channel that overlapping sensibility together.
Right. Which is why, like, the whole, like, the broad overarching term of sympathy magic, or not sympathy magic, sorry, that's Florence and the Machine. Sympathetic magic, which is like a term that can be applied to a lot of different magic systems in like real life world mythology and in books and whatever. That maybe didn't make as much sense to me as literally that specific explanation of what Carter is saying, of how he was able to get the power through the power of empathy and understanding.
Yes.
That he is like, let me tap into Horus and his brain, because this book is about him and Sadie like understanding each other and missing each other.
Yeah, or I guess like yeah, like imbuing something with meaning, like the crook and the flail and like
Mm-hmm.
those sorts of
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Yes.
I think also
Symbolism,
their
essence. Yeah.
yeah. I think like their relationships too with their like host gods are so synonymous to like their relationship with each other,
Mm,
like Carter and Sadie and their respective host gods, that I think also that sibling relationship carries over to the way that they in turn connect with their host gods, if that makes sense.
totally. It's kind of like they balance in the same way. Like
Mhm.
Horus is Carter's Sadie.
And
Little
yes, and they even kind of have that they they banter, they kind of make fun of each other, like especially in the
Yeah.
Yes.
first book. Yeah.
Low-key personality wise, there is also
Right?
this like Horus is more dispositionally similar to Sadie, I think, in
Yeah.
some ways, and Isis is, well,
Well, she's a bit more
it's not a perfect
serious. She
analogy.
carries herself like,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. But I think like overall like sibling relationship.
Yes.
Like I
Yes,
see
yes,
that
yes.
as like a sibling relationship for them too, in a way. Because it's definitely
Yeah.
not like a romantic relationship and it's also not
Mhm.
like, I feel like it's more than a friendship.
Yeah.
Definitely. But there's also a lot going on with Bess in this section. He's kind of alluding to like a past he's had. And I was expecting for the river goddess to show up and be like, we used to date. Because I was like, what is this for? Like, are we building up to something, or was it just so that he could kind of
We
speak
still
to
have,
Carter in
yeah.
a bro to
We don't
bro
have the
kind of
payoff yet.
way? Yeah, okay, great.
He tells the
It's
story
not
of
paid off yet.
his imprisonment. I think as like just because we're generally curious about Bass, but also because the I guess the thread between the sympathy magic and everything else going on here is the core essence. It's the knowing. This is Carter's like, I have just been known debrief decompression section, and so Bess as like a way of trying to reach out to him is like, okay, here's the trauma that defines me. Tells a story about getting imprisoned by a real historical figure. Like this was like the trauma that was informing the whole situation with Vlad the Inhaler in the last section. But the person that is name dropped here is the person who actually kidnapped Baz. It's like a real fascinating, like Tsar era, like Russian person who like made his way into the nobility from the peasantry and then got like cooed out to Siberia after basically becoming king by fiat, sort of kind of like, and then having his children like from exile in Siberia make their way back into the Russian court and gain power again, which is like Bess tells some aspects of that story. I didn't totally understand what how would I say this? I wasn't sure if this was kind of like a non sequitur, like, oh, Rick wants to tell an interesting story from history versus like, should we be,
Same.
how heavily are we supposed to be indexing into this as like, I guess it's like an interesting way of trying to motivate Vlad as a character, but also he doesn't, but at the same time, he feels like he's being characterized relatively cartoonishly, and I'm kind of okay with him being characterized relatively cartoonishly for the purposes of this book. But we do get this backstory to, I guess, have and to know Bess better.
I feel like it also though was like because I think Rick sometimes, which like we all love about his books, like the fun of going to different places in the part of questing. I think he's also trying to inform like their like little stint in Russia. Like just I kind of add more context maybe like, this happened to me with this like Russian guy and like look, I don't know, make it more like cyclical in a sense.
Yeah.
Carter, if you're saying that the payoff is to come,
we still don't know who rescued Bess. That's the kind of question where we end this reveal section.
Right.
We do also get this. I don't know how hard to go in on this. Bess does also make this claim about how he is in some ways a progenitor of, or that all of the different deified, mystified, like little people from across mostly a European canon can be traced back to him, or like I guess in this world are him. He's saying like gargoyles felt like a little bit of a reach for me. Leprechauns, I guess, is like closer. but
Gnomes,
dwarves. Yes.
He did not say Menehune.
He did not say Menehune. He did not go to like sub-Saharan Africa or India or East Asia or any of that, which also have all of their own traditions of like deified, unique spiritual powers among certain people who are smaller.
I would need to talk to an anthropologist about this, because there are so many things that do come from Egyptian mythology that then have radiated into particularly Greek and Roman mythology, which then radiated elsewhere, like into Asia and stuff. Like, there are definitely cases of that. I don't know if this is one of them, but
right. I think like Rick often makes these claims, but given how old Egypt is, it really might have some weight here.
Yeah.
Like some genuine weight. Yeah.
Some of these I think are plausible. Like the idea of the like the dwarf thing makes sense to me. Some of these other like a leprechaun, is that not like a pre-contact Celtic? I don't know. I don't.
That's what I also thought,
right? I would love to know more.
Prior.
No, this was
love to know more about ancient civilizations to be able to understand like the exact migration of like human people throughout different parts of the world to know that answer, but I don't know that answer.
Sometimes I just chalk it down to, I mean, really, I could ask an anthropologist and not have to chalk anything down.
Right.
But
we could, certainly.
But sometimes I just chalk things down to, which I think is also plausible, just like, you know, we all have kind of the same human brain, and we kind of, you know, like collective thought.
Yes.
Dragons.
Yes. Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, exactly. And so like, I think like it also, because, you know, like, it's not like little people are mystical creatures in the real world. Like that's like a legitimate, so, and back in the day, you know, they didn't have any way of like medical research, you know, so like, oh, why were you born this way? Well, here you go, you know, maybe something of the sorts.
Yes. Rick he's always like at an interesting place with this line between like a historical realist, somewhere between the historical realist tree of religions school of thing, where he's like leaning into this idea that was really in vogue in like the aughts in anthropology of saying that like a lot of beliefs spiritually and even metaphysically about the world are downstream of some sort of core thing and have spread along these routes of human movement. And there's this melding, and like definitely like that it does happen. Like when he's doing this thing about like Thoth Hermes, for sure, like that's like very well documented, interesting stuff for us to think about and like to in the modern day work through like what are the like belief system implications of that type of interchange. But then I think there's also a possibility to over-index on that and like ignore this deeper idea of like people often can come to similar conclusions when seeing natural phenomena that exist around the world, and that lots of different cultures also are developing their own things of their own thought and independence, and that you know, I don't know, like we certainly would not want to, for example, say that Chinese mystical traditions can be attributed back to the Roman Empire, as has maybe happened.
Shout out our boy! Shout out our boy!
Right. Or I also
love the
Zhangs! In a similar note, I thought it was interesting when he said that the Bedouins still worshipped Bez to a certain extent. I'm like, well, so actually they are probably Sunni Muslim.
Yeah.
But like, I just thought that was really, I mean, I can buy it in the sense that, you know, like, can I buy it? No, not really. But like, I'm just lying to you. No, but like in the sense that, you know, they're very respectful, very hospitable, very generous. And maybe they're like, okay, this guy seems like, you know, maybe he has something mystical, magical to do with whatever, like where we came from. Yeah. And so they're like, you know, tiptoeing around him just in case. I believe they gave him the best part of the goat. They would give any guest the best part of the goat. But yes, because that is how it must be. But worshiping him, I'm not too sure about that. It's kind of actually blasphemous in Islam, but that's okay.
Sure. Word. No, that's a great explanatory comma. What you're saying, like we don't know who rescued him yet. Great little projecting quote we got here from him. You want her to like you, speaking to Carter about Zia, but when you rescue somebody, it complicates things. Don't get starry-eyed about somebody you can't have, especially if it blinds you to somebody who's really important. Don't make my mistakes. I'll await that explanation and payoff later. And then we get to chapter 14, the Tomb of Zia. Oh boy. You said that the last
title,
chapter...
not a joke. That's how you know. It's about to go down.
Not a joke.
When I was a kid reading this, I literally was like, oh my gosh, like this is the end of it all. Because like he's like, you know, like the Spider-Man, I saw this in your notes, the like Spider-Man and like MJ, like he doesn't remember her anymore. And let me tell you, if this was like my favorite Rick book, then you can imagine Carter and Zia was my favorite Rick ship.
Yeah.
So I'm a Perseus truther, like of course, but I was like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen? Like, yeah.
No, literally, Carter, you said that the last chapter was incredibly stressful. This chapter was incredibly stressful for me. I was like kicking my feet and like running around. I was like, I can't do this. Oh my god, she doesn't remember him. And he is like, he is heartbroken. You know, he's like, please. He keeps trying. And Bez is like, not too much now. Like, you need to rein it in, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's sad.
I was listening to you read the Red Pyramid, and when you were like, is she a Shabti? I was like, oh, you just wait.
the way Carter fed me that answer too. Like I did not come up with that. I never would have guessed that. It's very well done though. The mouth to mouth, like the interjection from Sadie in the narration, like calling him out because they are still teenagers, and like obviously you should do mouth to mouth. Like that's obviously the right thing to do, but it's so awkward and so uncomfortable for them. Oh god.
Yes. Yeah. There is something about like each of the different boy protagonists that Rick has are still meaningfully distinct and have, I feel, different challenges to offer masculinity. Like what we have going on here is such a useful interjection for young boys that is, I think, not a useful interjection that comes up anywhere really in Percy's journey, and anywhere really in Magnus's journey, or like any of the other Argo 2 boys situations. Like I really appreciated watching Carter try to work through this thing and learn in real time how to manage his expectations and like reel himself back in, even if really jerkily and not wholly successfully. And this is engaging. The whole thing, the phenomenon of having to comfort a person who you have a very strong attachment to, who doesn't remember specifically. This is a powerful trope. Many flops will say The Notebook, they will say 50 First Dates, but
I was thinking 50 First Dates. My cultural touchstones.
But I think that Spider-Man looms larger for me. That's
me
the one that I reached for.
Me too.
As well as, of course, my beloved Cardcaptor Sakura in the teen sequel series. I don't know. Yeah, I was very I was a little bit shocked that he went in this direction. How did other people feel about this? Was everyone like 100% expecting she's not going to remember him? This is going to go poorly.
No, I really thought that she was going to remember. I had no part of me thought that she was going to reject him.
No, I thought she was going to reject him. I had no faith in their relationship, hence my stress. I feel like from the get-go, it's always been, wow, this is kind of embarrassing because I just said that this is like my favorite ship. But like, it's always been Carter like trying to convince Zia to like him. Almost. There's like this disconnect, like there's a cultural disconnect to begin with. Like, I could say this a million times over, but like Yeah, it's just she's just an Arab girl and he's just an American boy. So that it was always going to be like hard and I was like, well I didn't think she was going to remember him. I didn't think she was going to like him. I didn't think she was ever going to like him in the first book and then when she started to, I was like, "Oh my God, like we're getting somewhere." Yeah. But I mean, it's Rick, so
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other touch point for me was I was thinking about Eleanor and Chidi and how if she does now reject him, that then they have the opportunity to tell such a beautiful love story of them falling in love again, because it's like no matter the world, like we will find each other. Like it was always meant to be this way.
I totally forgot about that, but that is actually 100%.
Yes. The Good Place for anybody who hasn't seen it. The Good Place.
Yes.
I had some I also had some hope that it would be like better. Cause like I said, I felt like there were moments where like he was trying to convince her to like him. And I was like, okay, maybe like the real Zia is like warmer and like is, this is we're gonna hit the ground running with this.
Nope.
But they are kind of, this is maybe the worst case scenario for both of them in the sense that Zia is the kind of most uptight, hierarchical, institutionalist version of herself, which makes sense. It should not come as a surprise to us that her first reaction is, "You're an outlaw, get away from me. I'm a scribe. Let me enforce on you real quick." And Carter's reaction to this is like he's trying to control himself and be like, I care enough that I'm going to trying to meet this moment and be what she needs, but also keeps letting slip through the worst possible things you could say to a like self-confident institutionalist young woman who has grown up with people maybe not totally respecting the extent of her power and responsibility. Specifically on multiple occasions, he's saying, "We can protect you. We're here to rescue you." And of course, how is that like? Why would you think that's going to go well? Like it's so nice to see him flop like this respectfully, like rooting for them, seeing him, knowing that this is a necessary part of this journey to have him be like, rein it back in. Like remember who she is. Like you've had these 3 months of having your little fantasy time, and it seems like you've forgotten some things. Like let's refresh our memory about the fact that she's stronger than you. She is more capable than you. She knows more things. This is not
better, smarter, cooler. Yeah.
The way that the chapter ends on her going, "I don't know you, I'm sorry." Oh, because he doesn't say like we're in love, but she is getting the freaking vibe from him that he is doing too much, right? I think she like cuts him off mid-sentence and she's like, "Don't even keep going with what you're about to say to me. I literally don't know you." More intuitive than him, like better people skills. Like
the list is really
people
endless.
Skills are a little bit all over the place. I don't know, like different styles.
Yeah. I think we're coming at it from two different
tough places.
Yeah.
And we end specifically with this ambush. Like Desjardins is there, Vlad is there. Desjardins also feeding.
Sorry, that was supposed to be French.
No, I was picking up what you were putting down.
Okay, great.
He was feeding the shipper truther flames a bit. Did we all agree?
Oh yeah, they're messy queens who live for drama. They're messy queens who live for the drama, for sure.
Desjardins and Amos, like,
especially Amos. Oh my gosh, that guy is just like that's what he lives for.
Yeah, at this point, like, what is Desjardins? Like, he's the main takeaway here is he's barely clocked in, right? Like, he's exhausted. He's giving second term Obama, like, fully grade in the course of a few months. He doesn't even want to be there. He doesn't like this job. He doesn't like his coworkers. He just wants to go back to
wants to produce movies
with Amos. He
I
he
can't
just wants
get
to start
over
a podcast studio.
Yeah, he's giving second term Obama. I'm actually stealing that. Thank you so much.
Aren't we all giving second term Obama?
Well,
I try to give first day. I try to wake up and give first day Obama. Actually,
But Zia is deciding to basically join the side of the ambushers, kind of. It's not looking good for them when we end this POV and switch on over to our girl Sadie.
Yeah, I was also kind of reminded of the scale of like not woke to woke as far as our relationship with the gods as magicians. That, like you said about like the institutional version of Zia, like she's like, they're trying to use this whole like Carter and Sadie have a relationship with Set thing against them. I like forgot how radical we were being by having the kind of relationship we were having with the gods at this point in the series. So that was a helpful reminder for me as well, that this is not how like the world of magicians typically, like the rest of people around the globe, are viewing our appropriate relationship to the gods.
Yes. We've moved the
Ad
needle
break?
a lot in our house, but yeah.
Yeah, moved the,
Yeah.
All right, ad break. We'll be right back.
Uncovered windows can make your home feel up to 20 degrees hotter. Stay cool and save up to 50% off custom window treatments during the 4th of July mega sale at Blinds.com. From outdoor shades to room darkening blinds, finding the perfect fit is easy. Get free samples, expert design help, and professional measure and install services, or DIY with confidence and support every step of the way. Right now is your last chance to shop up to 50% off site-wide, plus huge savings during the 4th of July sale at Blinds.com.
Do you hear that? Sounds like breakfast is ready. Because Quaker's coming in hot with morning nutrition. 100% whole grain oats and a good source of fiber to fuel the rhythm of your morning and kickstart your day. And that sounds absolutely delicious. Fuel to start whatever's next. Quaker, official sponsor of FIFA World Cup 26.
Who cares about your poops? Ollie does. That's why Ollie's science-backed gut health lineup helps support your family's regularity. From daily probiotics to fiber gummies your kiddos will love. Find it all on Ollie.com. That's OLLY.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Okay, we're back. Sadie's chapters. Is this chapter or next chapter? I guess it's next chapter. But I was a little bit like, what's going on with Walt? Can we just talk about it? Because I not as far as him having a curse.
What's going on with Walt.
We find out what's going on with him in that sense. But I know we had this whole conversation about the age gap. We've had it like every episode. But this was too much for me. I was like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. No, every other second was like, oh my God, my hot little sidekick. Oh my God, Walt's so hot. Oh my God. She's just a teenage girl. I'm there with you.
I'm with Sadie.
But Walt, I'm like, if she thinks you're hot, look, you've probably looked in the mirror before. But I need you to lock in.
Yes. Well, also, too, because the whole time they were having this conversation, when he's, like, bearing her soul to her, quote unquote, like, I was like, oh, he might be saying all these things because he is experiencing, like, he knows he's dying and, like, everything in his life is mattering more to him. Like, all of his interpersonal relationships are, like, meaning so much. And, like, he's noticing all these little things about Sadie because he's so observant at this time in his life. But then it literally went to, like, them kissing. And I was like, what is happening? I was giving us the benefit of the doubt. And I don't think that it's like right of me that I am more uncomfortable about this than a dude. Because he's 16. Oh,
wait, he's 16?
Yes.
No, it's okay. Me too, Carter. It took me like a while to figure that out. But once I did, I was pretty weirded out.
He's 16,
I think though, it kind of upsets me because the same, like Sadie gets this, oh my God, she's so mature treatment from like Anubis and from Walt. And I'm like, okay. And like we need to clock some tea here. Like Anubis might look like a 15-year-old. Like I'm sick of the vampire gods immortals appearing.
I know.
As
we have
15
to.
Years
it's
old.
So hard. The reason why it doesn't bother me with Anubis is because I think that he looks 16 to Sadie, but he's like mentally like not like he is just in a completely different realm. Like it is so like something that it can't even be like put like
that's true.
Regular
like
life things onto, as opposed to
Walt.
I'm like,
if anything, in the opposite direction. He has not had arrested development. He has probably had to have an accelerated maturation because he's dealing with death and chronic illness. and making big life decisions for himself, leaving home before turning 18, all of this.
His curse. And like,
Yes.
also, I feel like
he's talking about like, I'm trying to find my purpose and like do my one great thing with my life before I die in a few months.
In probably,
like,
yeah.
A few months max.
I also think that like, I don't know, maybe this is like overly woke of me, but like even
Where else
No
is the place?
such thing.
Where else is the place to say such things?
My friends often describe me as the most woke person they know and the biggest flirt they know, and those are like my two superlatives. So I'm like, okay, I'll take it.
Come on, Sadie.
But but I do think that like maybe Walt's not old enough to understand this, but I also think even the concept of him putting all of this weight on Sadie's shoulders, because now she feels like she has to carry it because she like likes him. So it's like on top of that,
there's literally a moment where Sadie's like, ooh, this is a lot. Like, she's like, I definitely dreamed of Walt saying this to me, but not like this. And she's trying to, she's obviously like empathetic and is like, this is awful, but also she's getting overwhelmed as she should be. And like, this is one of those situations, like, I don't blame Walt like I do in my head. I think I have to lovingly blame Rick for this. And in order to continue reading this book, I have to pretend that Walt is 13. Because this to me is just like an accidental failure of timeline, which we know happens in the Riordan verse. I am assuming in my head Walt is actually 13. And that is how I will proceed from now on. 14 maybe. He could be 14 too.
Yeah. I also feel like the putting the weight on Sadie's shoulders, that itself, other than the like reciprocation of the crush, was like, that is something that a 16-year-old would do, even if they have like a higher level of maturity. Like, he needs to share it with somebody, and it's not right that he puts that weight on Sadie's shoulders, but it's like, well, who else is he going to put it on? Like, it's a lot of weight for him to carry alone. But again, like, that's kind of like a Rick thing. It's not like, for that, I don't blame Walt as a character.
I don't know. I'm really struggling with
now
this.
That you know that he's 16.
I feel like I must have just mentally blocked it out because his actions are they feel so like, because of his life circumstances, he doesn't clearly act to me like a 13-year-old or a 16-year-old, particularly. Like, he's such
very
a
mature
set of experiences and challenges to deal with that and I think it reads super differently, obviously, but if 16, I'm
if 16, then we have to read the quote.
If 16,
if 16, then though I can't say his eyes melted me like Anubis's. He did have a gorgeous face. He looked nothing like my father, but he had the same sort of strength and rugged handsomeness, a kind of gentle gravity that made me feel safer, a bit more firmly planted on the earth.
Where was our British accent?
Sorry, I can't.
That Rick was being this real and raw.
That's what I was like,
found
Rick,
this
you are
so
not
funny.
a 13-year-old girl.
Two
How does he
sentences,
get some of this
we're
stuff?
going through like, I'm playing the field, like, this is my number 2 guy, kind of. Like, these are the reasons why he's number 2, precisely, not number 1, not number 3. And also, like, let me get into the precise contours of the father
of dating my dad.
No, wow. Oh my god. The concept of a Sadie Kane roster and and the concept
cycling through.
Yes, and her daddy issues.
I do think that Rick has a 13-year-old girl trapped inside of him. That he has a 13-year-old girl trapped inside of him. The level of nuance that this one quote carries to the 13-year-old girl experience.
He's so
right. And he didn't have to be that
characterization.
Right. It's true. It's true.
It's almost awful. It's almost just awful. Like,
and also calling a guy gorgeous before it was cool to call men gorgeous. Like, I really messed with that. Gorgeous. He did have a gorgeous face. Yeah. Like, I feel like that. I really like that. Like, Rick's kind of doing something here.
He does it, and he does it again in the next chapter, low key. Do we have that quote as well? Oh, that's macho bluster. All boys like to be mothered. Girl!
He spilled.
When I say girl,
And
I'm specifically
how?
talking to the 13-year-old
To Rick.
girl trapped inside of Rick Riordan.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know that tweet that's like me talking about my dad? This diva. Me talking about Rick.
And my dad is a diva. I can confirm.
And my dad is Rick. So
yeah. No, pretty much. Pretty much.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he has Percy Jackson trapped inside of him. And I feel like
inside of Rick, there are two wolves.
There are two
one is
wolves.
Percy Jackson,
one of them is Percy Jackson, the other one is Sadie Kane.
Yeah. Exactly. And Sadie
Rick,
Kane. Sadie Kane wrote Annabeth Chase, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
I'm following that.
Sense.
Yeah. Which
it all makes sense now.
The timeline of it all would make Sadie Kane older than Annabeth Chase, which isn't correct. But also, if you read their little crossover, they're like the same age, so it's fine.
Yeah. Wow. We cracked it. We discovered that information here.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, there's a lot going on. Like,
yes.
Families.
Yeah, there's some like lore things to talk about.
Yeah. This was maybe the first moment of this book where I felt like I wasn't sure where we were going with this like new character appearance when we were talking about Ptah. But we haven't really gotten to know him yet. So I'm sure it'll, the next section of chapters will kind of answer that for me. Or not. Oh, not.
Strong guest star. Strong guest
Okay, word.
Gives her one piece of information, clears away some angry mummies. What more do we need from him?
This also felt like a little bit like, I'm gonna say it, this was like Heroes of Olympus fan service to have a little Roman character.
Cross promotion.
I agree.
Like they were giving the Larias from Camp Jupiter, because this came out right before the Son of Neptune. Yes. Crotchety, dead, old, conservative, selfish, showing up all the time, trying to bargain with you for no reason, really. But in this case, this is the more interesting version, because this is where we're getting into our whole multiverse of madness, underworld. I think this is the most straight... I guess Rick, literally in the first book, in The Lightning Thief, is giving us everyone seeing maybe their own thing. I don't know. Yeah. Christian Hell, somewhere in there. But this is the most, I think, like, lore-rich, like, oh, okay. To unpack what's happening, these people are here as a part of the Roman occupation of Egypt from, like, 2,500 years ago. They got buried in the local style, but also as subtextually, like, they don't say this part necessarily, but, like, as a result of the colonization, like, as a result of, like, Rome enforcing their cultural practices locally, but incompletely. What they got was a half-ass Egyptian burial. Like, they weren't able to fully go the Egypt route, but they also have all this Roman baggage, and so they're lares, kind of, but also they are mummies, kind of, and they also weren't able... The funerary rituals after the mummification weren't conducted, so the mummification didn't actually get them into the Egyptian afterlife. They're stuck here, they're mad. Limbo, multiculturalism.
I do also like that they are asking to be set free, and if this was Percy Jackson, he'd be like, okay. But it's Sadie, so she's like, shut up and get out of my way. No. Like, stop asking. I'm not helping you.
She lies to them like a girl boss, and that moved my spirit. Because she a little bit, like, this is one of the first times that the critique of them, she doesn't give us necessarily, I'm anti-colonial. These people don't deserve rights because they stole this land or whatever. But a little bit subtextually, like, kind of what she like, part of what she's saying is not just like, I don't like these people because they're presently being rude to me. It is kind of this broader, like, I don't feel bad for you. I feel like you're not a person who deserves my sympathy, especially in comparison to the pending apocalypse. I'm not going to go out of my way and use this knife for you because I am so overflowing with altruism and human compassion that I will do the first best thing for the next person who walks across my path. I'm going to lie. I'm going to get my bag. I'm going to do what I need to do here. And I really respected that.
I think in 6 years, she will be able to articulate that, you know? Like, she is like, she has those sensations. They're just automatic, instinctive for her. Like, I don't think she knows the word anti-colonial yet, but she'll be able to articulate it later, you know?
Well, she grew up in Great Britain,
Yes,
so she definitely doesn't
exactly.
know the word anti-colonial.
She does not.
But just you wait.
But she's a girl with Doc Martens and purple hair. Like, she's going to
She's in
get
Brooklyn
there.
now.
Yeah. Like,
She's
I
in
mean,
Brooklyn now.
she's with Carter Kane now, so yeah.
Yeah.
I do think it was, yes, felt like fan service, but I do think it was like, I think it was prevalent given Rome's influence in Egypt to kind of include this little tidbit in there.
It was appropriate. It was like fan service that also made sense in the context of the book.
I love the phrase covering all our bases, because that is often how I think of the multiverse of madness, the Riordan verse of madness.
Like the multiplicity of faith systems.
Yeah, that they were literally like, we're just covering all our bases just in case we want to go to heaven or somewhere else. Or, you know.
Like, this is actually more reflective of the global history of approaches to faith, and the global history and the global present of approaches to faith is that, like, there are a lot of places in the world where you kind of just, it's palimpsestic. You do a lot of things. There's like a merge of cultures. I feel like I should be listing examples to sketch this out, but like there are like I think like Mexico City, and that's like a place where like you see a lot of this stuff of like pre-colonial belief systems and deities and stuff just kind of getting woven in, and people still being able to be like, I believe in one of the most kind of doctrinaire, like institutionalist forms of Christianity, and I can hold that with the idea of like the Lady of Guadalajara and like all of these other things that also mean something, even in like a monotheistic, buttoned up, like doctrinaire faith system as kind of like the top line.
I think like it also comes from like this was written before. I feel like we've become so polarized in politics, which has bled into religion because people have started, you know, conflating church and state, which is, you know, kind of the whole idea of what we were trying to work against. But but I do think like in Syria, for example, which is where my dad's side of my family is from, like before the revolution and before like things got into like a giant mess, there was that like you held two truths at once. There's a lot of people that believed in Islam, a lot of people that believed in Christianity. We also celebrated Nowruz, which was Persian New Year. The Christians would like fast for Ramadan. The Muslims would like celebrate Christmas with their Christian friends. And then on top of all of that, you also recognize and understand like even like the ancient traditions. Like Palmyra was like one of the biggest Roman sites. Like they do recognize that, and it's not like blasphemous to like think of that in high regard, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah. To give the weight of like respect and reverence to lots of different ways of believing and understanding. Yeah. Wow.
Especially in like places of cross-culturalism.
Yes. Is there anything else to say about Bad Claude and his mummy attacks and bargaining and such? The resolution to this at the end is like, we're not so anti-Mad Claude. He gets a happy ending, kind of like he tries to attack us, but then as a part, they tie it up with a little bow and say that when the mummy bodies are destroyed, they just have a Roman afterlife. ... linking back up also to our cross promotion. But
I think the only other thing I really wanted to talk about of this section is Walt being like a chosen one of Anubis, that we don't really know what that means yet. And also he's developing these new powers, right? He says, which I assume is the whole touching creatures and then turning to dust thing.
I have Sadie thoughts on this. Obviously, because we talked about this earlier. I think it's so very convenient that Sadie's two crushes just so happen to be like magically like interlinked.
Yes!
Like this is so Rick coded. This is the most Rick coded thing I've ever read in my life. Like,
you think they're gonna challenge?
Is it Messy of Anubis? Is it Messy of Anubis?
Yeah, yes.
He definitely seems bisexual to me.
No, that's the question. Is that how are we going to close that loop? Are they going to challenge? Are they going to Spider-Man? Are they going to? Yes.
One of them's probably going to die, unfortunately, I think is the answer to that.
Oh.
Oh, that's not.
Okay, listen. We know what happened. So is that the pre-registered hypothesis?
I don't know. I was assuming Walt was going to die and no one was going to be able to save him because they say sacrifice.
Wait, Erica, have you not read the full series yet? Are you reading only as you're going?
No, I'm the newest throne. I have not read.
Erica's the newest Throne of Fire. Erica is the newest.
Erica is the Red Pyramid, by the way. Wow. Oh my gosh.
No, I haven't. I don't know.
Okay, wait.
But they say courage, hope, sacrifice, right? Courage, hope, sacrifice.
Yes. Some words of wisdom, and the words of wisdom are courage, hope, sacrifice.
Yeah.
Succinct.
Very.
Mm-hmm. And there's a nice quote also, like words are the source of all power, to help us kind of end this section about sympathetic magic.
Which kind of clocks tea. I really like that as a debater.
I do too.
Words are the source of all power, especially like I feel in the first read in as I was rereading to prepare for this. Initially, I was a little bit like, "Whoa, we moved on for that whole secret name thing really quickly. That feels like it should be permanently altering things." And I do feel satisfied with the nature, as we've had this conversation, of the reverberations of the secret name, of like knowing him fully, and of sitting with that. That like the theme of both of these chapters has been the horrifying, I think specifically teenage phenomenon of the horrors and importance of trying to fully know someone, and that being kind of like the core pursuit, like the way to build relationships, to understand your power, to understand yourself through trying to messily fully know somebody else.
I agree. Yeah. And at the end of the section, we're gonna end the split up, and we're gonna go back to meet Carter Kane.
Yes.
Maybe know each other. Maybe knowing each other better this time. Maybe crossing that divide. Any final thoughts, anybody?
Hello to Charlie Bushnell's mom, if you're listening.
We love you. No, hello to Charlie Bushnell's whole family.
No, of course not. Of course not. I just remember Charlie saying that she listens to this podcast, and in like the least weird way possible, I met your son at the weekend last year, and he's super cool. So, hello,
God,
Nicole.
I remember that. Wait, I remember when you were there the same night as all of the kids. That was so funny.
All of them. And then my best friend and I were like, "Yo, like, where's Walker and Leah?" And then the two of us being like, our little like teenage moms were like, "They're too young for this. They're too young for this. It's good they're not here."
Yes. No, I think yes.
And
they're
like,
all different ages.
I don't know if Abel Tesfaye is like quite the artist for you. Abel Tesfaye is not even the artist for me.
Ooh.
Like,
well,
okay. Moving forward, that was my final thought.
Speaking of that, anything you want to promote?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, sure. Go follow my Instagram. It literally was shut down. Yes. So go follow the new one, which my old one was my actual official government name. So that's upsetting. This new one is Rania.Cartouche. RANIA.KARTOUCH of Cartouche CARTOUCHE fame, the symbol that you put around a set of hieroglyphs to indicate you are of royal descent. Yeah. Lots of fun.
Right, guys.
Yeah.
Follow Rania. We'll link it in our show notes. Carter,
my
any
new
words
Instagram.
of wisdom? New Instagram. Carter, any words of wisdom? Words of encouragement?
Who am I to contest Ta? Courage, hope, sacrifice.
Courage, hope, sacrifice.
Courage,
All
hope,
right.
sacrifice, baby.
We'll see y'all next week. I expect a book report on how you've embodied those words, listeners, by the time we see you again.
Correct.
Bye.
Bye, all.